everybody. Welcome to another edition of Adam Curry Presents. Well, it's another edition of the 25 Days of Christmas. On today's show, we're giving you the Tournament of Champions of 1992 for a classic episode of Jeopardy! Coming up next, Boston Pops Hit It! This guy is making us speed up. Oh, come on. What is
this? Dad?
Just a second, Tiger.
Dad, it's Santa Claus!
Hey, so it is. It's great.
Santa can. Bring it home for the holidays.
8, Free to Kill, tonight on the News 8 Update at 10.
Today, one of these three contestants will win the Jeopardy! $100,000 Tournament of Champions. Now entering the studio for our deciding game are the three finalists. A grad student from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Bruce Simmons, whose cash winnings yesterday totaled $0. A material scientist from Phoenix, Arizona, Leszek Pavlovich, whose cash winnings total $4,000. And a writer from Studio City, California, Jerome Vered, whose one-day total is $700. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thank you, Johnny Gilbert. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, folks, and welcome to the final match in this year's Tournament of Champions. You heard some chucklings from people in our studio audience when those dollar figures were announced a few moments ago. In case you missed the first half of our final yesterday, let me tell you what happened. These three brilliant gentlemen went into Final Jeopardy having accumulated as a group $25,400. They then got very reckless or very gutsy. Each made a very large wager in Final Jeopardy. Each came up with an incorrect response on a very tough clue. And as a result, Leszek is the only one with a substantial amount of money, $4,000. But the way you guys have been playing, that is really not a large lead. We will take those totals off the scoreboard right now. Those sums, $4,000 for Leszek, $700 for Jerome, will be added to your totals from today. And whoever winds up in the threesome with the highest total will have that sum augmented to $100,000. There are minimum guarantees for second and third place. We'll talk about those later. Right now, we want to get right into the first round of play, the Jeopardy round. Gentlemen, good luck. One daily double in one of these categories, starting off with the Far East. Next we have the Old West, North and South, Signs and Signals, Musical Theater, and finally, Crossword Clues, V. Each correct response will begin with the letter V. I will give you the clue, the number of letters. All you have to do is come up with the correct word. Jerome, you select first.
Okay, let's try the Far East for 100, please.
The Hollywood Road area in this crown colony is the place to go for antiques and art. Bruce.
What is Hong Kong?
Right.
Crossword clues V for 100.
Answer. Spike Sports, 10 letters. Jerome.
With volleyball.
Right.
Far East for 200.
Called Wai Chi in China and this in Japan, it's a strategy game of lining up black and white pieces. Bruce.
What's Go?
Go is right.
Crossword clues for 200.
A mature actor, 6 letters. Bruce.
What is Veteran?
No, sorry. Jerome or Leszek? A mature actor, does the name Victor mature?
Oh.
Anything?
Oh, those kind of crossword clues.
Yes,
You-
those kinds of clues. Bruce, you select again.
Well, let's see how well Eugene T. Maleska has prepared me for this. Crossword clues for 300.
All right. The Lord said it was his. 9 letters. Bruce.
What's vengeance?
Yes.
Crossword clues for 400.
One had his hand in McCarthy. 13 letters. Jerome.
The ventriloquist.
Correct.
And crossword clues for $500.
Seller item seller. 7 letters. Jerome.
Vintage? What is vintage?
No. Bruce.
What's vintner?
Vintner is right. Yes, the seller.
Far East for 300.
Answer. Tourists visiting Yulantoki in this Chinese inner region can rent a yurt with attached bath for the night. Jerome.
What is Inner Mongolia?
Correct.
Far East for 400.
In this Buddhist country, April 6th is Chakri Day, a holiday honoring the ruling family. Leszek.
What is Nepal?
No. Jerome.
What is Bhutan?
No. Bruce.
What's Thailand?
Correct.
Musical theater for 100.
Yul Brynner played the monarch in this musical 4,625 times. Jerome.
What is The King and I?
Yes.
Far East for 500.
In Singapore, a statue of this Briton marks the spot where it's thought he came ashore in 1819. Leszek.
Who's Raffles?
Sir Thomas Raffles is right. You're out of the hole.
The Old West for 100.
Answer. Slang for food, it preceded box, house, and wagon. Leszek?
What is Chuck?
Chuck is right, and that takes you to 200. You've just doubled your score. Bruce is in the lead, however, with 1,300, and Jerome has no money as yet. Our first break, and then we will return to complete the Jeopardy round.
The Right Price Christmas Store, McDuff. Now through December 24th, take advantage of 0% interest, no down payment, no payment till March 93 on any total purchase of $100 or more. Plus, great values on top-name portable TVs, big screens, rack systems, VCRs, camcorders, car stereos, refrigerators, washers, computers, and much more. 0% interest, no down payment, no payment till March 93. Plus low prices every time you shop McDuff.
It could never happen, but it did. Over 1,000 hardcore inmates freed from Texas prisons.
They have no conscience. They're just like wild dogs being released.
And now they're out on your neighborhood streets. After a 6-month investigation, News 8's Robert Riggs, the man who exposed the Kenneth McDuff parole scandal, uncovers a whole new story that top Texas officials don't want told. Free to Kill, an exclusive special assignment tonight on the News 8 Update at 10.
The flight is in the air. Hijackers are on board. Who's in charge?
You are.
One passenger is fighting back.
You! Back your seat! God, please!
Critics call Passenger 57 a non-stop, nail-biting action-adventure. Snipes is sensational.
Chill out. I'm with the good guys.
Wesley Snipes is Passenger 57.
You ever play roulette? On occasion. Always bet on black.
Rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
We've dealt with a dozen clues. Leszek, you gave me the last correct question, and so you make our next selection on number 13.
The Old West for 200, please.
Old West for 2. Joseph Glidden wasn't the first to make this fencing material, but by 1885, his design was the top seller. Bruce.
What's barbed wire?
Correct.
Musical theater for 200.
The working title of this musical was Welcome to Berlin. Jerome.
With Cabaret.
Right.
Musical theater for 300.
This musical opens with the song, There's a Sucker Born Every Minute. Leszek.
What is Barnum?
Right.
Musical theater for 400.
This musical about married life is an adaptation of the four-poster. Jerome?
The same time next year?
No. Bruce?
What's I Do, I Do?
Correct.
Musical theater for 500.
Fairy tales by the Grimms and others were adapted for this Stephen Sondheim musical. Jerome?
It's Into the Woods.
Correct. Back out of the hole.
Thank you. Old West for 300.
In Old West slang, someone in these with another was in partnership with him. Jerome?
It's Cahoots.
Cahoots,
Old
right.
West for 400, please.
This dentist was one of Virgil Earp's deputies in Tombstone, Arizona. Bruce?
Who's Doc Holliday?
Right.
Old West for 500.
In 1858, Sam Houston told the U.S. Senate he didn't want regular troops. 1,000 of these men would do. Jerome?
What are Rangers?
Texas Rangers, yes.
North and South for 100.
Answer. On April 14th, 1865, General Robert Anderson raised the same flag he'd lowered over this fort 4 years before. Jerome.
Was Fort Sumter.
Yes.
North and south for 300.
For 300. On November 7th, 1862, Ambrose Burnside replaced him as commander of the Army of the Potomac. Bruce.
Who's McClellan?
Right.
North and south for 400.
Answer. In December 1864, the rank of Vice Admiral was created for this hero of Mobile Bay. Leszek.
It was Farragut.
David Farragut is right.
North and south for 500.
The answer there is the Daily Double. Bruce is in the lead. You have 900, Leszek.
Let's go for 900.
All right, here is the clue in the category North and South. In 1861, this social reformer was appointed Union Superintendent of Nurses at age 59.
Who is Clara Barton?
No, sorry. Correct response. Who is Dorothea
Dix.
All right, you didn't lose all that much. Select again.
Signs and signals for 100.
Answer. It's waved to indicate a truce or surrender. Jerome.
With the white flag.
Right.
Signs and signals for 200.
In this game, a tug on the ear means sounds like, and a touch on the nose, you're right. Leszek.
For charades.
Right.
Signs and signals for 300.
These noisy insects are a sign of good luck in China. Jerome.
What are cicadas?
Cicadas or crickets, yes?
Signs and signals for 400.
Answer. The two types of these home signaling devices are photoelectric and ionization. Leszek.
What are smoke detectors?
Yes.
Signs and signals for 500.
The ringing of the church bells on this holiday in 1572 was the signal to massacre Huguenots. Jerome.
What's the St. Bartholomew's Day?
Yes.
North and south for 200.
On April 9th, 1865, he told his troops, I have done my best for you. My heart is too full to say more. Jerome?
Who's Lee?
Robert E. Lee is right, and that takes you to 2,300. You trail Bruce by 300, and Leszek is on the board with 600. We have come to the end of the Jeopardy round. And Bruce, I want to go back to something you said at the end of yesterday's program, following what some people would consider a disastrous ending in Final Jeopardy. You said it seemed like the right thing to do to bet everything you had, and I believe you had over $8,000 at that time. Explain it to our viewers.
I figured we're all going to get it right, or we're all going to get it wrong. And if we all get it wrong, we're all going to be really close. If we all get it right, I hope that I was going to bid a little bit more than other people.
Now, you were thinking back to last year's Tournament of Champions because you made a comment that...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the fellow who won last year's Tournament of Champions won because he made an aggressive bid the first day. He got a huge lead, and he coasted the second day because he was able to do that.
That was one of the few occasions when that has happened. As you know, if you've watched our tournaments in the past, a $5,000 lead on day one doesn't necessarily hold up on day two. Leszek, have you come into this final with any kind of strategy in mind?
To win.
Thank you, Leszek. Jerome, what about you? You accumulated $96,000 in regular competition. Many thought that you were the fellow to beat. So how did you approach?
I am the fellow to beat.
I see. But are you worried about being the fellow to beat?
Not anymore, no.
No? All righty. One thing you're noticing, ladies and gentlemen, and I made the comment to our studio audience yesterday, I believe, and that is the fact that our champions, the players who appear on Jeopardy and play the game so well, are not just eggheads. They are bright people who have a marvelous sense of humor, and it's always a great pleasure for me to share the half hour with them. I'll be sharing the Double Jeopardy round with them, trying to keep up with them in reading the clues when we return following these messages.
At Hillshire Farm, we know that company's not always expected, but good food is. So serve the unexpected. Hillshire Farm Little Smokies, fully cooked for delicious appetizers in minutes. Their unique snappy bite bursts with flavor. Light Little Smokies. Surprise! Taste the difference when it comes from Hillshire Farm.
Washington apples. They're as good as you've heard. Breakthrough. Brought to you by Tom Thumb Page and Channel 8.
A teenager commits a crime and the headlines ask, are today's young people going to the dogs? But a large number of Dallas teenagers recently sent medicine, food, and clothing to aid the war victims of Yugoslavia. Orphanages and hospitals gratefully received what the Texas young people had shipped. So one thing is certain. The dogs are going to have to wait a little longer. I'm Prentice Metter. This is Breakthrough.
The two players who were trailing at the beginning of today's match are now leading. Let's go into Double Jeopardy, an important round. It may well determine the winner of the $100,000. Two daily doubles in these categories. Here we go. Italian history, fictional characters, nuclear energy, politicians, gems, and finally, Maxwell Anderson. Leszek, you pick first.
Nuclear energy for 200.
Answer. Almost all U.S. nuclear reactors use this liquid as a coolant. Bruce.
What's water?
Right.
Nuclear energy for 400.
In 1957, the UN set up the International Atomic Energy Agency in this Austrian capital. Leszek.
What is Vienna?
Correct.
Nuclear energy for 600.
The first underwater atomic explosion took place on July 25th, 1946, off this Pacific atoll. Bruce.
What's bikini?
Yes.
Nuclear energy for 800.
This isotope of uranium is the one used as fuel by almost all nuclear reactors. Jerome.
What's radium-238?
No. Bruce.
What's U-235?
Correct.
Nuclear energy for 1,000.
Fusion reactions occur in this superhot gas made up of free electrons and free nuclei. Leszek.
What is a plasma?
Plasma is right.
Gems for 200.
Answer there. When they've grown attached to an oyster or mussel shell, these gems are called blisters. Jerome.
What are pearls?
Correct.
Gems for 400.
After emerald, this blue-green gem is the most highly prized of the beryls. Jerome.
What is aquamarine?
Correct.
Gems for 600.
The harlequin type of this gem is characterized by angular patches of fire. Leszek.
What's an opal?
Yes.
Gems for 800.
A Madra diamond is actually a variety of this mineral that's used as a diamond substitute. It's actually a zircon. Leszek, pick again.
Gems for 1,000.
Resembling topaz, this quartz gem derives its name from its lemon yellow color. Leszek.
What is citrine?
Citrine is right for another 1,000.
Politicians for 200.
Answer. This HUD secretary was president of the AFL Players Association from 1965 to 1970. Jerome.
Who's Kemp?
Jack Kemp, yes.
Politicians for 400.
From 1955 to 1961, this Texan was the Senate Majority Leader. Jerome.
Who's Johnson?
Lyndon Johnson, yes.
Politicians for 600.
In 1984, this Democrat won election to the U.S. Senate from Tennessee, succeeding Howard Baker. Bruce.
Who is Sasser?
No. Jerome.
Who's Gore?
Albert Gore, Jr., yes.
Politicians for 800.
This senator from Wisconsin who founded the progressive movement was nicknamed Batlin Bob. Jerome.
Who's Bob LaFollette?
Yes.
Politicians for 1,000.
The answer there, one of the two daily doubles.
Okay, let's go 2,500.
All right, for 2,500 in politicians, here is your clue. One of 3 women elected governor in 1990.
Who's Carter?
Oh, no. Who was Ann Richards of Texas, Barbara Roberts of Oregon, and Joan Finney of Kansas. That cost you 2,500. You're at 1,600 right now.
Okay.
Select.
Italian history for 200.
Answer. In October 1922, he became the youngest prime minister in Italy's history. Bruce.
Who's Mussolini?
Yes.
Fictional characters for 800.
Answer there. This eccentric old lady in Great Expectations dies after her wedding gown catches fire. Jerome.
Who's Miss Havisham?
Who is Miss Havisham is right.
Italian history for 400.
Answer. In 1949, Italy became a founding member of this Western military alliance. Leszek.
What is NATO?
Right.
Italian history for 600.
In the early 1850s, this military hero worked as a candle maker on Staten Island. Bruce.
Who's Garibaldi?
Right.
Fictional characters for 1,000.
Answer there. This 1906 Upton Sinclair novel centers on Jurgis Rudkus, a worker in the Chicago stockyards. Bruce.
What's the jungle?
Yes.
Italian history for 800.
In the 1860 Treaty of Turin, this king granted the city of Nice to France. Jerome.
Victor Emmanuel.
Right.
Italian history for 1,000.
In 1720, the Duke of Savoy ceded Sicily to Austria and received this island in exchange. Bruce.
What is Sardinia?
Yes.
Let's try fictional characters for 600.
In a novel by Muriel Spark, she devotes her prime years to teaching at a girls' school. Bruce.
Who's Miss Jean Brodie?
Right.
Fictional characters for 400.
Bromden, a half-Indian who has shut out society by pretending to be deaf and mute, narrates this Ken Casey novel. Leszek.
What is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yes.
Fictional characters for 200.
He's the title character in Death of a Salesman. Leszek.
It was Willie Loman.
Right.
Maxwell Anderson for 1,000.
For 1,000, the answer there is a Daily Double.
You did.
Both of your opponents, Jerome and Bruce, seem to be conceding you the match now since you found the Daily Double, but you've got to come up with the correct response. You have $4,600 to risk.
Not my best category. I bet 1,000.
For $1,000, listen to this clue. Lost in the Stars is a musical version of Alan Paton's Cry the Beloved Country, set here.
To South Africa.
You are right. And there goes the $1,000. We have 4 more clues. Do we go up or down?
Maxwell Anderson for 200.
Answer. This queen was the Anne in Anderson's 1948 Anne of the Thousand Days. Bruce.
Who is Anne Boleyn?
Yes.
Maxwell Anderson for 400.
His 1935 play Winterset was inspired by these 2 anarchists tried for robbery and murder in the 1920s. Bruce.
Who are Sacco and Vanzetti?
Right.
Maxwell Anderson for 600.
It completes the title of his first success, an anti-war drama. What price? Leszek.
What is Glory?
Yes, and our last clue. Anderson dramatized this William March novel about a grotesquely evil little girl. Jerome.
What's the Bad Seed?
Yes, for $800 more, taking you to 4,000. Leszek has 6,200. Bruce is in the lead with 7,600. And now comes Final Jeopardy. Start thinking about your wagers based on your knowledge and how comfortable you feel with this subject. President's homes. We'll be back with a clue right after the break.
Wilford Brimley for new Quaker Oats Plus Fiber.
Every day should feel this good.
Maybe what you need to help feel your best is a good high-fiber cereal. In that case, Quaker's got some good news for you. Quaker Oats Plus Fiber. It's brand new, and it's got as much fiber as a lot of those cold high fibers. But this one, hot Quaker Oats.
Every day should feel good.
This year at Hallmark, you'll get 5 extra Christmas cards free when you buy specially marked packages. That's 5 more people whose holidays will be a little brighter because they heard from you. This Christmas, there's no place like Hallmark.
Sports and leisure. What Sports Illustrated swimsuit model was also a championship swimmer?
And you thought Elle Macpherson was just another pretty face.
The Trivial Pursuit 10th Anniversary Edition. Is anyone not playing this game?
Travel arrangements for some contestants provided by Delta Airlines. Now Delta flies to more than 300 cities worldwide on over 4,800 flights a day. At Delta, we love to fly, and it shows. Premier accommodations provided by Merv Griffin's Beverly Hilton, with Los Angeles' premier meeting and convention facilities, award-winning dining, Olympic-sized pool, and health club, located in the heart of Beverly Hills.
This year, do your Christmas shopping sitting down at Glamour Shots High Fashion Photography. Give the gifts only you can give. Your portraits from Glamour Shots and experience the magic of a Glamour Shots makeover. See yourself in 4 different looks from our fabulous wardrobe selection and give a different pose to everyone on your Christmas list. Do your proofs instantly and your portraits will be ready to gift wrap in about a week. Glamour Shots gift certificates make great gifts too. Bring a friend for our 2-for-1 special, just $14.95 each, this week only.
A friend told me, Jerry, you're way too serious about sausage. You need to lighten up. So I did. Introducing Owens Light Sausage and Biscuits. Pure pork sausage, 90% fat-free and 100% great taste. Because that's one thing I'm still serious about. Owens Country sausage, cheese, eggs, garden-ripe vegetables. All the good things you've come to expect from Owens, all rolled into one. One tasty meal. Owens Border Breakfast. Try them all.
Our final Jeopardy clue relates to presidents' homes. In a moment, players, you'll get the answer. You'll then have 30 seconds to write down the question. Here is today's final Jeopardy clue. The exterior of the governor's mansion in Florida is modeled after the home of this president. Good luck. 1821, the man was a provisional governor of the state of Florida. Jerome, we're going to start with you. You had $4,000. You just threw your hands up in the air when I mentioned that. Let's take a look and see why. Who is Washington? That, of course, is incorrect. You know what the correct response is now. $4,000 was what you risked. You wind up with nothing today. $700 is what you had yesterday, and that's what you wind up with. But we have the minimum guarantees, of course, of $7,500 for third place, $10,000 for second place. Let's go to the middle, to Leszek. He had $6,200 going into this final Jeopardy. His response, who is Jackson? The governor's mansion is modeled after the Hermitage. Your wager was $5,200, giving you $11,400 today. Added to the $4,000 from yesterday, you have $15,400. Now we go to Bruce Simmons. He had $7,600. His response was, who is Jefferson? That is incorrect. Where will you finish? You had $2,899 wagered. That takes you down to $4,701. You'll wind up with $10,000. But Leszek Pavlovich, congratulations, $100,000 as our Jeopardy champion. Way to go. This has been, ladies and gentlemen, a super tournament, and it is thanks to not only players like Leszek and the other two, Jerome and Bruce, who competed in this final, but to all of the other champions. Let's bring them out right now. The best champions we have had in 9 years on Jeopardy. And I'll say goodbye while these players come out to congratulate our champion. We'll see you next week. So long.
Today's second and third place contestants will receive the American Heritage Dictionary, third edition. In a world of changing words, one dictionary stands out, the American Heritage Dictionary from Houghton Mifflin. Oh la la, Sasson. Sasson men's, women's, and children's fashion, setting the trend in the 90s. Sasson fashions take you where you want to be. The left and right-handed Radius toothbrush cleans teeth and gums with its 5500 ultra-soft bristles. Radius looks different because it makes a difference. Paul Mitchell Salon Hair Care. We're as good to the environment as we are to you. Available only at fine salons. Kraft Touch of Butter Spread. It's made with rich, creamy butter. A touch of real butter makes a real difference. Centrum Silver, a specially formulated multivitamin, multimineral for adults over 50. Centrum Silver because right now it's a great time to be silver. Matrix Skin Care. So advanced, it's simple. Visit your nearest Matrix salon for a consultation on how you can achieve softer, smoother, younger-looking skin. And all contestants receive all new editions of Wheel of Fortune featuring Vanna White and Jeopardy featuring Alex Trebek for the 16-bit Super Nintendo Entertainment System and the Sega Genesis System. And the Jeopardy Challenge from Alex Trebek and Merv Griffin. Find out just how good a Jeopardy player you are with this collection of some of the toughest Jeopardy games ever.
Oprah's on today at 4 with victims of crime, asking why the criminals who devastated their lives are now free on parole. Learn what you can do to stop the release of hardcore criminals today at 4 here on Channel 8.
This is Johnny Gilbert speaking. Jeopardy is a production of Merv Griffin Enterprises. Distributed by King World.
Play Jeopardy tomorrow night at 7, right here on Channel 7.
Well, that's our show for you today. Oh, Christmas, it's getting to look like Christmas for everybody. So we'll be back next time for another edition of the Adam Curry Presents Fever Chat this Saturday's Christmas Marathon. Maybe we might be back tomorrow. A little Christmas surprise. We'll see you then. Happy holidays. Well, I'm not meant to be rude.
What we got here?
This has been a presentation of Adam David Kepper Curry Production.
Her husband, Bob.